Trail Seeker Adventures heads to round 3 of the Mountain State Hare Scramble at the Pleasant Creek Raceway. Even though the temperatures was in the 90s, they had a great turnout. I decided to run the 2020 Beta 300RR. After not having the best bike race, what did I do? I decided to jump on a four-wheeler and try it on 4 wheels. Come along, let's check it out.
So forth, so you make a lap. Okay? Like I said, guys, I throw a lot of new stuff in there, so...
Good luck, boys! I definitely can get used to this push button 2-stroke thing. Getting out in front of all the dust, that is definitely going to be a big help today. As I mentioned, I'm on my 2020 Beta 300RR, and I've been working through some suspension issues. Each time I get out and ride this thing, I seem to get closer and closer. But so far today, I'm out front, which is a check mark on the plus side. It's not feeling too bad. Obviously, it's not the best, but so far the day is going the way I was hoping it would go. I've only raced this race one time, but I don't know if anybody that knows me knows this property, and I have history, and it's not all positive. A couple years, actually no, it's been 2015, I believe. I was helping on this property. I was out helping course marshaling, and I was basically just out watching a rock garden, and I saw a youth four-wheeler go down, and he never came back up the hill, so I just thought I'd ride around and see what happened. Here his clutch went out, but his parents was with him. I was coming up out, and a stick punctured through my backside of my leg, and I was helping it out of there. So I've only been on this track one time. It was 2 years ago, and I remember it having a few rocks, but nothing too bad. So I didn't change my tire, and I've got a pretty hard bib in here, which will be a problem. To the outside, stay. Thank you. I'm really enjoying the beta. Some of the people aren't appreciating my graphic kit that I have on it, but right now the suspension is definitely the biggest thing I'm trying to figure out. I know I could spend $1,500 or so and just go get it fixed, but I'm trying to feel the bike out first. The more I ride it, definitely the more I figure out about it. But right now the issue I'm having is on the rear shock. It sets really low in the rear, and I found out that adjusting the high speed and low speed compression to the softer side, it brought it up. And at this point it's not feeling too bad. But I'm curious to see if you have a beta with this sack shock, what your settings are, what your clicks are, and so I know where to maybe start from. Up to this point it's feeling pretty good, but right here was my first indication that I may have made a mistake. I can't get moving. I thought this track was going to be totally dry and dusty. I did not change a tire. I got an older Kenda Millville 2, I think is what it is. And I got a pretty hard bib in here. And I should have known because of the 2-hour race that, or the 8-hour race that I have a video on at the SXCS at Backbone Mountain. In a wet rocks, it was horrible. And I should have known that. This is going to be totally all on me. Absolutely no traction. It's going to be a long day on the old 2-stroke. The only other issue I'm having is not with the bike, it's with my elbow. And I'm looking for ideas on this also. On the 8-hour race, I noticed my grip was on my left hand was starting, like my hand was starting to hurt, and then it ended up with my elbow starting to hurt. And now, which is the main reason why I did not race the GNCC high voltage, because I was trying to get it to heal up. But it doesn't feel too bad up to this point, but when I grip, which obviously when you have a clutch, you grip a lot. When it's stretched out and I'm gripping, the outside of my elbow, which they say is probably tendonitis. If anybody else has had this issue and know how to get that resolved, leave a comment. As you can tell, this track was pretty tight, and that was the main reason for bringing out the beta. It's pretty tough to pass, and you know, I give a call out to let people know that I'm back here. Most people was pretty good throughout the day, but there was one scary moment right at the bottom of this hill. I thought it was going to turn out a whole lot worse than it did. this hill was dry. It was the big hill. Oh, sorry, Brandon. It was the big hill climb that you had to go around if you didn't want to attempt the hill due to bottlenecks. It climbs right up that hill, and that's kind of what I was expecting the entire track to be. But obviously, it wasn't that way. Most of the track was kind of wet and slimy. Leave a comment if you actually this right here was a tricky downhill with a hard left turn. And I noticed throughout the day that obviously somebody was down in there. If you were one of them that got caught down over that hill, leave a comment. Let me know how it turned out and how hard it was to get up out of there. I love the power on this two-stroke on this beta. I don't think I got the jetting exactly right. It's not sounding right before you hit into the power band, but it lugs like nobody's business, and it will get up and go. I'm definitely starting to enjoy the two-stroke again. Just gotta get the suspension figured out. Before the race season started this year, Trail Seeker Adventures and our sponsors picked a couple young youth riders to sponsor. We got them gear and graphic kits. But earlier on this day, I got to watch Trey take off at the 50s and climb up some hill climbs. And then I also got to talk to Nevin about his hole shot. Let's see how that goes. Are you ready? Yeah. Are you going to sweat any?
I'm sweating a lot.
Before you even start? You gonna pump some wheelies? How about that whole shot? Are you get the whole shot?
Yeah, I'll just fix it up.
Cool.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, Nevin!
He swung it a little wide there, but he got a good hole shot, and I believe his dad said he finished third for the day. So good job, Nevin and Trey. Glad you're out having fun. And thanks to Elkins Motorsports, Outlaw Motorsports, LTD. I definitely couldn't do what I do without your all's help, and I really hope to help some youth riders next year. Now let's get back to racing. Now this section over here I actually enjoyed. As you can see, it's somewhat dry and the bike handled pretty good. Now we're back down in the bottom where I seem to really struggle. These loose rocks, I know the tire and the bib is part of it, but I'm almost sure that the suspension is definitely holding up. It seemed like the shock on the rear was bothering them out. I wasn't getting a full stroke of the shock, and right here I realized, yes, I am definitely going to be in trouble. I could not move. It was flat and I could not move. But throughout the race I was adjusting on that rear shock. I got the rear of the bike to set up a little higher, and it actually felt better through the rocks on the last 2 laps. The main idea for the Trail Seeker Adventures YouTube channel is to give you all riders out there something to look at, to figure out a series to go try out. As you can see, my eyeballs were cooking, so I did just go ahead and take my goggles off. I'm not sure if anybody else had that issue. I thought I was going to pass out there for a second because it is up in the 90s. and but we wanted to get also go out and ride parks, but obviously we're not getting out as much as we would like to due to the pandemic that's happened here in 2020. I believe I find Blake through the brush here somewhere. There's old Blake. I'm glad I'm not the only one struggle, but this hill gave me fits every lap. I just could not get moving up this hill, and I'm sure if I said leave a comment, I would get a lot of comments on that hill. But I do want you to leave a comment. Let me know if you enjoy this type of content. I'm really trying to figure out what you all want to watch. The idea was to make a video that you guys can watch and say, yes, that's something I want to do. I'm going to go do that. Whether it's a ride park, a series. I've done some on GPs, sprint cross. I've done some on the 8-hour race, and it's just to give you guys ideas of something that you might enjoy to go do.
Thank you.
I enjoy the Hare Scramble because I like the 2-hour format, but the GP was kind of cool. But just leave a comment. Let me know if there's something that you would rather watch. Give me some ideas, some feedback, so I can do better content for you. For one thing is, like, I used to play music. I asked you all, there's Damien, Photo Hawk, pictures, Smug Mug, if you race this race, he's got a picture of you. And there's my Heidi sitting out in the sun, or in the shade there, but in the heat, making sure I don't need anything. But just like I was asking about, do you want music or do you want the motorcycle sound? You all weighed in. Most of you said motorcycle sound, no music. So I cut off the music. Let's see here. I am first, my first lap. So far, so good. I know that this tire is going to cause me issues though. But for sure, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm starting to get a few subscribers. If you like dirt bikes, hiking, biking, I got a couple kayaking videos that I'm going to put out. Anything outdoors. If you have any ideas of something you want us to go check out, whether it's a ride park or a race series, definitely going to get out and try a bunch of different things. But leave a comment and let me know. Subscribe to our channel. Push the little red subscribe button at the bottom of your display. Well, that was one lap here at the Pleasant Creek Raceway on round 3 of the Mountain State Hare Scramble. The biggest thing on this weekend is the heat. It is 90. It's very hot, although I really didn't feel it so much racing. I wear contacts, so the last thing I ever want to do is take my goggles off, but I definitely had to take my goggles off in order to get some air around my helmet and then my face. Started feeling a little loopy there for a while, but it seems to be okay here. But it's definitely a struggle. I think there was like 183 riders and 50 of them. No, I think, yeah, 50 of them I think only made one lap. So it was definitely tough on people. I don't know if you noticed, but for about a lap, or at least a half a lap, I've been hearing this 4-stroke behind me. And usually if there's somebody behind you and they're not yelling at you to get out of their way, they're most likely in your class. So I've been listening to this 4-stroke. I'm struggling. I don't like holding people up, but I'm definitely noticing that there's somebody behind me. Mr. King at the the bottom of that hill. Let me know whether there's a bottleneck or not there. I appreciate that. But it was a fun hill. You definitely did not want to get behind somebody that was going to not make it, because if not, you was going to have to go back down, and that's going to take a lot of time, obviously. This hill was tricky. I think mostly because I was just slipping, sliding around. It's not that steep. There's nothing difficult about it, but I could not get a straight run up that thing for nothing. And that was one spot I noticed the rear shock not feeling very good. It's like packing or something. I'm not sure what the issue was with it. Other than the slick rocky uphills, this whoop section out here is one of my least favorites, and did not look forward to coming to it right here. The bike did not like this through here at all. Well, I thought I would find out who this was behind me. Obviously, I thought he was closer to me. Those 4 strokes, they seem like they're right on you. And right there he goes. And I look, and yep, he is in my class. That is Ryan Barnett. And on the first round at Marvin's Mountaintop, I believe he got second. I got first, and he got second. So I know he's a pretty fast guy. At this time, I didn't know who he was. There was a guy in the 30 AB class that lined up right beside me, and I knew he was in the 30 AB, but he had the same type of shirt. So I was a little confused at this point, trying to figure out where I went wrong as far as, and here I make a stupid mistake. I'm sure I'm not the only one if you look at the trail, but there's a straight line up over there, and to be honest with you, I think after that's about the last time I've seen Ryan. Right here is where I had a lot of struggles trying to get up out of this creek bottom. I did okay this time, but the next lap, as you'll see, I struggled pretty big time through here. I don't usually make a habit of letting people around me, but when I'm having a bad day, I don't want to hold nobody up. Here, this was a tricky little spot. I didn't really have any issues other than just not really getting traction for the hill, but it never got stuck on it like several of these guys did. Oh! I rarely ever do a race without getting a dirt sample, so that one's done with. Hopefully that's the last one, which I'm pretty sure it's not. Now we're back to my favorite hill to climb, not struggle and cannot get no traction. I talked to my good friend Bob Martin. He has an Apex on his, and he said he had no problems coming up this hill, and I'm sitting here and I cannot get moving. So I know that's a problem. And I know many of you probably had the same problem, but it's simply a poor tire and tube or moose selection as far as on my behalf.
This tire sucks.
Heidi was ready to throw some water down my back, but I just gave her a quick update. Yeah, not the best day, but you know, I didn't get hurt, and that's always the most important. You gotta look good coming up in front of the crowd. Yep, as you can see, I was second. Here's my favorite hill climb because it was dry, and this time there was nobody trying to wreck in front of me.
Thank you.
As I come skeeting down the hill, yes, I was almost one of the ones having to drag their bikes up out of that hill. Not a good day for that, as hot as it is.
You don't like those kind of turns. Hey, hey!
Did you hear that? That's first place getting further and further away.
That ain't good. I think so.
Not sure who that gentleman was, but I sure appreciate the offer. I was just hoping he would get off, or make me get off and take the bike up for me. I should have really learned my lesson last year at Snowshoe. I had the exact same problem. I think I had the exact same bib, but I had a Dunlop 33, and I could not get up the Powerline hill. I could not get moving. You would think I would learn my lesson as long as I've been riding, but just I go cheap, don't want to put a new tire on, and this is the results of that.
Ho, ho, ho!
So as I wrap up the bike portion of this race, the overall winner on the bikes was Brandon Higgins, and second was Brandon Poland, and then Randall Irvin wrapped up the podium on the pros for the overall, and then then in my class, the 40A, it was Ryan Barnett. He was 21st overall. I was 25th overall. And then on the last step of the podium was Gregory Richardson. And he was 34th overall. So I'm going to wrap up the bike portion of this video, and I'm going to go and jump on the old four-wheeler. And it's definitely a hot, dusty day, and to be honest with you, I was not looking forward to getting on the four-wheeler. Let's see how she turns out. Good luck, Brandon. I didn't show you to the right, but there were probably close to 20 four-wheelers on my line. Now that's the 40 AB and the 30 AB, and I was definitely glad to get a decent hole shot. I don't usually get the best hole shots with this four-wheeler, but it started right up and took off, and as you can see, it was just a little hard to see. I had several people asking me, how are you going to race that four-wheeler? And my answer was, I'm not racing it, I'm going to ride it. And that is totally what this was on this race day. I was not in no racing mood. I usually enjoy racing the four-wheeler, but my right hand had blisters from the motorcycle, and my left hand had a sore elbow that anytime that it got jerked, it was very painful. So my goal was just to make laps and see how she turned out. I about missed a trail there, but yeah. So yeah, the answer to your question, how are you going to race that four-wheeler? Not very well. And I'm about due for a second GoPro. This is my backup GoPro. The sound is kind of jacked up on it, and for some odd reason I can never remember to wipe the GoPro off when I'm on the four-wheeler. I don't know what it's all about. It would be a whole lot easier on a four-wheeler than a dirt bike, you would think. But before the race, which this is on Saturday, I got the four-wheeler out from the last race that we raced. I never ride this thing throughout the week because they're so expensive. But I noticed I needed rear brake pads, and I thought I'd had enough brake pads for at least one more race. Well, somewhere through here, all of a sudden, I completely lose all my foot pedal. I have no rear brakes. I'm thinking like down through here somewhere. I'm pumping them, and nothing. So I don't know what happened to the brake pad. So now I got a sore hand with blisters, a bad elbow, and no rear brakes. So it's going to be interesting to get. And it's 90 degrees, and I just raced for 2 hours on a dirt bike. So needless to say, I'm not really having a lot of fun on this day on the four-wheeler. As you can see, it's kind of opposite with the bike. I can go uphill just fine with the four-wheeler to where I was struggling up through here with the bike, but on the downhills I'm just using the engine brake and trying not to flip over the bars, and on the bike I could go fast downhill. So it's the opposite problem with the four-wheeler than I was having with the bike. and that is exactly what I'm trying to avoid to have to do on the four-wheeler, is yanking that four-wheeler up out of the woods or trying to get it unstuck. Here's Mr. Frank. The old four-wheeler is running pretty good, thanks to Jordan at the Elkins Motorsports. He keeps this thing rolling. When you come out here and look at this hill climb, it is so steep, and I'm like, no way would I take a four-wheeler up that hill. But then when I'm out here riding it, I don't even think about it. I'll just hit the gas and go up it. But I'm looking behind me because I know Brandon from Elkins Motorsports, there he goes. I knew he's behind me. I didn't want to hold him up because I was in no mood to really race. Even though the four-wheeler was feeling pretty good, I was pretty tired, and not having no brakes was not something I was wanting to be pressured by. We have a little rival. I make fun of him for hardly ever finishing a race, but he's pretty fast when he's able to keep moving, and I didn't want to be in his way. This was down at the bottom. It got pretty rough through here. I still would rather come through here on the four-wheeler with four wheels, and then that dirt bike with the suspension the way it was acting up and the tire. The four-wheeler was actually like riding a couch through here compared to that thing. I'm only going to do one lap on the four-wheeler. The video gets pretty bad, but in the pros, it was for the overall win. Brandon Sullivan, Rodney Rush got second, and Wes Kinsley got third. And in the 48, Todd got first, and Jeff Harvey got second. Good job, Jeff. And then Nick Labrano got third. Good job, gentlemen. I felt so slow out here on this four-wheeler, but then I would catch somebody and I would actually keep up with them for a while. But it was basically a survival on the old four-wheeler. The brakes started to come back, and then next time you would hit them, they would go away. I had better luck than that guy. He's only got a three-wheeler, and that don't work going up these hills. But for the most part, I had a good, fun weekend. It was hot. It's now Wednesday. I'm doing this video. Oh, this is that bad rocky uphill. No problem for the old quad. Just climb right up through there. But it is now Wednesday. My elbow, my main goal was not to damage my elbow any worse. It was pretty painful throughout the weekend, but it's now Wednesday and it's no worse than it was before the race. So that was successful. Not to, oh, look who that was. I think that was old Mr. Harvey. Kicked my butt this weekend. But the goal was not to screw my elbow up any worse, so I could get it healed up and hopefully have it 100% for the next one. And that was successful. I ended up, I thought the scoring must have been messed up. I thought at the first lap it didn't show me no score, and then the second time it showed me second, and then second, and then I thought I was going to end up third, but on the last lap I screwed up and was waiting for a kid to get his bike started, and somebody snuck around me. So I ended up fourth, but then when I look at the scoring on the website it shows me 5th. So I think I was 5th and 26th overall. Not the best, but I'm okay with it. I'm healthy. I didn't have a heat stroke. But thanks again for watching. Subscribe to our channel. Let me know of anything that you would like to be on the channel. Any suggestions? We're definitely open for suggestions. This is for you to be able to find something that will help you find a trail. But thanks for watching, and hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.